back. Today, we have a fusion. We're doing a full fusion all the sides and the rear. We're doing that in carbon. Should be a good stream. I haven't done a fusion in a little while now, and I quite miss doing them just because everything's real nice and straightforward. Decent enough work to do, but nothing crazy on a fusion. So this should be a good one for sure. Make sure everything is good to go. Because the last time, oh my God. There we go. That's better. Last time we had a bunch of technical difficulties as soon as we started, but it looks like things have been fixed from Windows updates. You would go live right before I did. It's intentional. Or we all have the same working hours, maybe that. I gotta go live right before they do. That's the only funny thing is like we all stream during working hours. So like it's competition, man, in more ways than one. Gotta make more original content, man. That's how this works. Dude, I've been slacking on videos. I gotta do some more videos. My channel suffers when I only do live streams. I'm doing a Forerunner all around plus shield. Guys, go watch Haas Extreme Shades. Go watch him instead. He's got the harder back window to do. I did one of those already not too long ago, but people had questions about that one. Go watch him instead. It'll be more interesting than a fusion. I'm kidding. Don't do it. Have you worked with Premium Guard? No. No, I haven't. What up? Lost T-Town Detail Tints. How you guys doing? All right, let's get this camera up and running. So I scheduled 2 doors for like 1 o'clock. And so I scheduled this one for 10 o'clock, but this one came way later. So I kind of have to just start plugging along here because we put that time limit on it. But we will make sure it is the best fusion. Big rear window. It's decent. It's a good all-around car to tint. Nothing super difficult about a fusion. It's all pretty straightforward. But decent sized back window, decent enough material to shrink. Not quite up to like Chargers, but we got some work ahead of us. Especially with that, with those little front quarters too. A couple of extra windows to do. Maybe we'll plot them. Always enjoy watching your videos. I appreciate it. That's why we do them. Okay. Let me go plug in the fog machines too. I'm trying to be better about all this stuff. There's like... We good. Yeah. There's like... The time I've had to settle in here for the past year and kind of get a handle on things and run out of time for excuses on some of this stuff. So I'm really trying to focus on just cleaning things up a little bit better, Paying attention to all the little details again. Well, again. I guess. First time. Still putting out good work. But everything else, it's like, that's what I gotta really focus on this year. So we got classes coming up. I like my time to really sit back and enjoy this. But now I gotta actually do work. Took so long to get to this point. Oh my god, there it goes. Alright, so fusions. They've been around for a little while. They got some felt seals. So we're going to tape those up. As far as tucking them, they're really not bad either. I like fusions. Fusions across the board. When they first came out, they were the best car. They were so popular too. We would get fusions all day long. It was a good day when we had nothing but fusions. 94 Subaru WR or SVX removal and installation. You've done one of those before? Probably, but it's gonna be a while since I have done them. So I would have to look at a picture to know what the windows are, because some Subarus like those were frameless, and I don't remember what ones were. Can you show us what you're giving away for tinting class? Aw, man, I just cleared the table. I took a picture and posted it in the Facebook group. I suppose I should also post it on the listing for the class. I should be able to bring it up on stream though. But for sure, the gist of it is pretty much all the main stuff that you see me use on stream, including a keg with a brass sprayer, that's included in the class. So like the good shorty handle, hybrid squeegee, red dot knife, tri-edges, blades, the felt card, glass aid stuff, shank, basically just anything that you really need for installation to do most cars. I mean, like all cars, really, because that's like all the shit I use is going to be included, because I want people to like start out right. Or if you've already started, which I think is always a good thing, then it's a matter of now you've got everything, no excuses. And I'm not trying to sell you tools while you're here. That's not the goal. Goal is to get you tinting right. Oh, it's a hell of a starter kit, yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things for me is always the sprayer. We can try and skirt by on poly 2s and stuff, but I mean, for the classes, I would have kegs anyways to practice with. So it's like, you know, it's a big expense to come out here and participate. And then when you learn off of something, and then you go back home, and if you don't have that thing, well, that's not good. Nobody wants that. So that's why you get that thing. I was trying to get a hold of the tail fins. I don't know if I'll be able to, but that's not like a necessity. So there's gonna be some extra tools that are always like nice to have on the side. Honestly, I can't think of what's not included, though, because there's just so many. But it's nothing that you'd be like, I need that. I think everything I've done on the stream. I think everything that I've done on the stream has been with, like, these main tools and literally nothing else for a long time. Because, like, really you don't need a lot of variety to tint a car. You really don't. But each one of the tools has a specific purpose for, like, 99% of situations. So, Canon, let me, ooh, even better. Let me bring up the post here, and then we can go over that too while we're tinting. Give me a second. Because I asked a question in my group about, like, what tools am I missing? Clay bar is a part of it, for sure. Clay bar, glass aid. Probably multiples of them, too. That's the other thing. Like, I show maybe one in the picture. There's, like... We'll hook you up. I'm trying to find the post. Just one second. There it is. Okay. Oh, I got to show another one, too. Oh, cool. It's right above it. That's always fun. All right. So this is so far everything that's primarily on the list. There will be multiples of some of these. But like one of those for sure ones that I'm like, it's hard to get by without a bulldozer. So it's like, we got to throw the bulldozer in. We're going to throw in a 3-gallon keg, the good hose, the sprayer that I use, the brass end. I don't know what tip yet, but felt card, squeegee handle, hybrid blade. We'll probably have like a Blue Max on standby, just a couple of blades or something. Tri-edges, soak shield, the good Avery Dennison belt. This is a really important one. This is actually worth more than what they charge for it, just because of how important it is to keep everything on hand. My tri-edge wasn't signed, but I feel bad. Shoot me an email. It's all good, man. I feel weird signing stuff, so the people that want them signed, I've been throwing in free tri-edges on every order, and then signed ones for the people that have ordered a tri-edge, just because it's like I feel like those were the people that really wanted a tri-edge, and I didn't know if they want them signed or not. So I throw in a free extra one so you can keep there, and then you get one that you can actually use. Knife. We have film for sale also. So, yeah, there'll be extra film for the class and stuff for sure. All the GeoShield gets drop shipped, but there will be extra at the class. It's one of those things where I don't know exactly what we're going to stock for film here, but there will be more than enough film to practice with, and then I'm going to see what Geo's going to do about hooking you guys up with some take-home film and everything, too. So this is everything that's included for sure, and then we'll probably expand on it a little bit, and we'll see what other people want to throw into it too. Do you guys see this? This is in the Facebook group. So if you haven't been to the Facebook group, here. This one was great. I love this kind of thinking here. This is ridiculous, but these are the questions that need to be answered. I think he had another... Oh, okay. No, there he goes. Shrinking a window with a torch. Yep. It's great. Because you don't know what film can do until you do something like this. Would you do it on a customer's car? No. But, like, for just entertainment purposes, hell yeah, why not? I love it. It's so great. No audio. What? No, there was audio. Oh, for the video. I gotcha. I was really confused. I was like, I did not just talk for a while without audio. Yeah, I muted it. That can get messy right now. The Windows reset all my audio stuff, and I have to balance everything. So all you hear is. How much would you charge for a 2000 Chevy 3500 with ceramic everything? No, and removing the front two purple film. I told them 500. Standard. Oh, ceramic everything. That changes it a little bit because I'm $650 without removing anything. With the windshield plus an extra, I don't know. It'd be probably like $50 to remove the front door. So I'd be like $7. Really not bad. Because, like, when you start getting into some of those upper tier films, too, you're making good margins on the film, too. So it's like you have a little bit more flexibility when you go up that high. But, you know, a 2000 3500 is not too bad. Just older. I think pretty straightforward. Sometimes they have those, like, black ceramic edges. Which, again, aren't really that difficult, just different. All right. That's a lot wasting on an older truck. Most people don't spend that kind of money on those trucks, though, which is why you don't really see them here. Like this one we're doing all in carbon, no windshield for $350. So, but you're adding on that one, like you're adding a full windshield, which so for example, this one would also be $650 with a full windshield in ceramic. So what you'll notice too is like people look that way about a lot of vehicles. So when you're undercharging, you're devaluing your own service and you're kind of segmenting yourself out of particular cars. You actually don't get, like sometimes, actually most times, you kind of like price yourself out of certain categories. So that goes high and that goes low. So when you're lower, honestly, there's quite a few times where people won't bring you your car or their car because you're overly cheap. And they think that there's a problem. And then when you price a little bit higher, all those things for me pretty much go away. The old Tauruses, the old Crown Vics, Grand Prix, shit that's falling apart, pretty much all disappears. And I like that. So we did that Mustang the other day. He actually did a really good job on the removal. But it wasn't, I didn't feel like there was much to learn off that Mustang. It was really a back window that's similar to this one. We had to just remove a handful of like flaky stuff. I'm looking for where are my sheets? Where are my sheets? There's some good ones. All right, so what is this one? This has the shifter. So this area should be okay. On some of these Fusions, this little area right here pinches. Oh wait, was it the one with the turn dial that was easier? I think the turn dial fusion was a little bit easier. I'll have to check. Sometimes on these fusions, that area at the bottom pinches right on that dot matrix. So you have to be a little bit slimmer with it, just to make sure you're not tucking much down there. Enough to cover all your gaps, but still give you a nice clean edge at the bottom without getting it all crumpled up. I'm curious now. See how this, oh, no, I think we're okay. Let's pull these. Cold. Everything is cold. All right, so this area right here. A little tight right there. Center's okay. And then when you get towards these spots here, yep, that presses. So we got to be real careful in there. We want to cut them basically exact at that border line, and not go too far down, or else that film's going to bunch up there. So I remember having that problem on these not too long ago. By not too long, I mean a handful of years ago. Oh yeah, this one. We need these. Oh, my tape. Shove that back in. Nice. Should be good, should be good, should be good. There we go. Off, off, off. Can you tint over blue tint strip so it's not as blue? It's not going, like on a windshield. You can tint over it, but it's not going to make it any less blue. Same thing with like colored glass. So the VW Tiguan is notorious for having like green glass. I don't really know why. That's just like their longtime staple, so they decided to carry that forward with modern ones because it's like a classic throwback. It's a really dumb idea. I don't know, somebody that really appreciates them. I'm sure there's like 2 people that do, and all the other owners that like it are like, yeah, I don't know why it's green. When you layer one color over it, it doesn't really cancel out the other color unless it was like somehow perfectly opposite of it. But what it's going to do, so that like blue strip up here, you can tint over it, but it's not going to change it at all. At least from the inside, you're going to still be able to tell that's blue. Is blue glass better than green? It's just a difference of color. There's nothing that, what was the question? New windshield. Oh, blue glass. Yeah, as far as blue versus green, like it's just color. It has nothing to do with like properties of it. Sometimes you'll see like special like privacy tinted windows on Mercedes versus like something else, but that's something different entirely. From the outside, it's gonna look brown. It's probably still gonna look black, honestly, from the outside. I mean, if you kind of darken up that entire area, but mostly on the inside, you'll still be able to tell it's there for sure and it's blue. Getting my shitbox tinted. Oh, dang, hang on. That's happened a few times. Considering getting my shitbox tinted 5%, what do you think? I think everything looks better with tint. Go for it. There's no reason not to. When you take the film out of the box, how does this film not roll down? Grip. You gotta get that grip strength. So this is about a half roll at this point. Maybe a little bit more than that. When this is a full roll, it's a lot harder to do something like this with C2. With Pro Classic and Pro Nano, they have just a little bit more static and they hold together. So it just depends on what film that you're handling. But I always tighten it up a little bit. And you gotta get that grip strength going. You gotta give it some grip. Pro Nano 2 mil, yes. Yes, I forgot to look at the Apex, but Pro Nano is a 2 mil film, yeah. Or cut it off a shelf or something. Yeah, you could do that's the easier way to do it. So, if you've got like a dedicated bay to tint out of, a place that you can pretty much reliably be at, you can set up some shelves, measure out the film, and cut exactly what you need. You don't have to like manhandle the film onto the car. I never had shelving. I always had like film boxes thrown over here or out in my car, and then I'd have to go grab something, and then like I'd have the car, but then I'd be in this bay or this bay or this bay. It never made sense for me. Super.
Zeus the Detailer super chatted $4.99.
Zeus the
Question,
Detailer.
what do you guys suggest? Get practice tinting before going to a training? Or go to a training then start practicing?
I suggest do whatever you can now, and that's get some film and start practicing. Waiting to start for a class, in my opinion, is a big investment that you're not even 100% sure that you want to take the leap into. Get some film, start practicing, see what you can do on your own, and just get your feet wet with it. Because when you go to a class, I mean, this never stops. When you watch anybody in person, you are almost guaranteed to pick up something that you just didn't think of. Like, oh, I didn't know he did things that way. Oh, I didn't know he, like, whatever. Like, I didn't know that was even possible. Never crossed my mind. You'll learn that from so many different people. So taking that forward into class, like, you're going to learn so much more, especially when you're new. But having your feet wet with some basics like spraying windows, holding a squeegee, squeegeeing out windows, getting film on the windows, just like trying to get a car done, you're never going to shortchange yourself or pick up any bad habits ahead of time. Like, when you go to a class, you're kind of better prepared because you know what you need to know the most. And it might just be like, oh, I just need to know so much. And that's all well and good. That's why you're taking a class. Classes will help speed you up in anything that you're doing. So, get some film, get some tools, and just see if you even like it before you shell out for a class. And then when you're getting, after you've been playing around with it for just even a little bit, then yeah, like, oh yeah, I definitely want to take a class, then take a class. Because it looks one way, and then you go to pick the film up, and you're just like, oh, this is way different than what it looks like. Whenever I want to get a good reminder of what it's like to be new, just tint with opposite hands. I feel like this is probably going to fall apart here soon. That's good. Also depends on your mindset. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, I think that plays a big factor into just learning in general. If you're determined to learn, then it doesn't matter. You'll learn it. And you'll probably learn it faster. All right, we need Zeus again.
Zeus the Detailer super chatted $4.99. I'm looking to add tinting services to my detail business. In specific mobile, would you suggest it? There is no mobile tinting here.
Zeus, thank you for the 5. I appreciate that a lot. Looking to add tinting services to my detail business. Mobile. There is no mobile tinting here. It's a good question. I look at services a little bit different now. I think what would be really valuable to you are the easy add-ons. I think full cars might slow you down a bit too much, because people want to be like, know everything, do everything, but I just noticed. I noticed this is 5. We're not doing 5. We're doing 20 on the back. I don't want to do 5. I don't know why I pulled the 5. So used to doing 20 on the front, I think, but we did 35. So we did 35 on the front, and we need to do 20 on the back. Let's make sure we do this right. Okay, so there's no reason you can't do more things. And it is a good way to like get those services going. But ultimately, I think if you're gonna add window tinting to your detailing, it's best to have somebody that knows how to do your tint. Unless you're just there with a car for a long time, more services honestly doesn't equal more money. To me, it equals more things to do. So you can make, and what I mean is, if you are the guy that's doing all the things. So yeah, if I add paint protection film and vinyl and detailing, and like I could have all these money-making opportunities here, but they're all their own business. So I need to have specialists really doing each one of those things, or somebody that can do a couple of them, but that's what they do. It's like, oh yeah, this kind of offsets that, so they're bouncing back and forth between a few things. Like, for me to just do all the things, it doesn't make as much sense, because you can't really focus on either one of them as well. With detailing, like, there's so much higher you can go with ceramic coatings, and different levels of cleaning and paint correction and stuff like that. I think there's far more to go in that direction than there is with adding window tint. So if you're gonna window tint, I would honestly try and take on some of the easier stuff, like front doors. Just like, hey, we're doing a full SUV today, did you want your front doors tinted too? And then if that starts showing profitable, then find somebody that can tint and then do the rest of the car. And then you can focus on the detailing and growing the business. Or else you're going to be stuck trying to do everything. So it's a good skill to learn, for sure. But you don't see me doing detailing on the side. I like exclusively specializing in window tint. And there's enough money to make here. There's enough money to make in detailing for any one individual and as a business. Adding the people that know how to do those services makes sense to then grow your whole business. That's the way I see it. I've been watching your videos and notice you always walk the long way. That's how my OCD brain works. Oh yeah, it's terrible. That's wasted time. I shouldn't be doing that. So when I walk from here to there, just to cut out.
Chatted $4.99. My girlfriend will be the one doing the tinting. I will still do mobile detailing. I'm scared to add mobile tinting cause they say it's hard.
It is. That's a much better approach to it. I'm glad to hear that. But real quick, yeah, so every time I walk from here to there to cut out just little corners, yeah, it's wasted time. There should be something on this side. So the car gets faced this way when I'm not doing a windshield. It gets faced the other way when I'm doing a windshield. So it makes more sense when I'm doing a windshield. I just got to add glass boards on both sides. But Zeus, thank you so much for the 5. Again, my girlfriend will be doing the tinting. Just don't break up. So that makes way more sense. Mobile tinting is hard. It takes time, it takes patience, and you need to be in an enclosed space. So if you're doing your detailing in spaces that are enclosed, not outside in people's drives or in a space where there's a lot of air movement, basically. So like, yeah, if somebody has you come to their house and like they have a bunch of crap in the garage and you're doing detailing outside or in a parking garage or something, I'd say it is a lot to add. You need a dedicated space for it. But if you're going into places enclosed, detailing the cars, then yeah, it'd be a lot easier to do. You can tint anywhere. Anywhere that has minimal airflow and you don't have to worry about the weather. Ooh, is that another one? Oh, look at that. My girlfriend will be doing the tinting. She will be on contract. You know what? With anybody, when you put in the time to teach somebody, it doesn't matter contracts. If they want to leave, they leave. And then they go do it themselves. And then they make their money, and then you have to go find somebody else. That's another thing that makes tinting so hard. Did that other one not work? I see there was another super chat here. You guys can tell me if it worked. I didn't hear it or not. But Johnny with a 5, thank you. Do you think mobile detailing in Michigan is profitable? Probably, but it is also dependent on the weather. I don't like businesses that are dependent on the weather. I mean, snowplow companies are hurting this year. I'm sure of that. They have been for a few years now. They're dependent on the weather. There it is. Wow, it just took 10 years. All right, cool.
John the ST super chatted $4.99. Do you think mobile detailing in Michigan is profitable?
Oh, is there another one? Wait, was it the same one replayed?
John the ST super chatted $4.99. Do you think mobile detailing in Michigan is profitable?
Well, how about that? I didn't even touch it, and it played it twice for you. Thank you for the 5. I appreciate that a lot. So I'm not super familiar with the detailing space, especially mobile detailing. I've worked around a lot of companies. Some places did really cheap detailing and didn't make much money doing it. And there's some places did specialize in higher end detailing, but I don't like services that depend on the weather. I really don't. So, similar things apply for window tinting. Should be doing it inside somewhere.
Use the detailer super
Oh my
chatted
God, another one.
$4.99. I just found mobile tinting very profitable here cause there is nothing like that unlike Florida.
Zeus, you can ask without super. Thank you, though. Thank you for the 5. Did you question then? What state are you in? But that's really cool. I found mobile detailing very profitable because here there's nothing like it, unlike Florida. That's appreciated. There's a good channel that sprung up not too long ago, Hunter's Mobile Detailing. There's a lot of detailing channels that'll be able to tell you a lot more about that business than I will. But I still stand by my statement. I don't like services that also kind of depend on the weather. So like, yeah, if it's not raining and it's cold, like you can still detail a car and stuff. But some things, like if it's out in the sun, then you got to pull it into the shade so it doesn't dry on the paint. There's always things in the way of it. That's what drives me so crazy. So if it's structured right, sure. But just have the right mindset about it. Don't just get into mobile because it's cheap and easy to get into it and then underprice yourself. Your service is still worth good money if you do it right. So just don't shortchange yourself. All right, we'll get some film on here too. So again, we're doing 20 on the rear. We're doing 35 on the front. But I guess everything has an opportunity cost. So just make sure that those opportunity costs make sense. I get small pinches and creases on the doors in the middle area after installing the tint. Could it be handling the film wrong? No. So those creases will just get better with technique. The little folds. I still get them, and I still have to heat them out. The thing is, those little folds and stuff should be able to be 100%
Use the
hidden.
detailer super chatted $1.99. I am just looking for ways of getting more income.
That's just part of it. Like the 2-stage way sometimes. It happens, and you can fix them. Dang! Zeus. I'm just looking ways for getting more income. Mm-hmm. I understand that. Totally get that. So you got to ask yourselves what your clients are most interested in adding on top of what they're already getting. Is it a higher end detailing package? Because I always see there's so much that you can add with detailing. Ceramic coatings, paint corrections. People charge and pay $1,000 just for a good paint correction with a ceramic coating, higher than that, depending on who you are. So there's so much that you can do with detailing. It's crazy. So window tinting is definitely like a good one. Oh, why do we got this on? Are we going to shrink this back window before we install the doors? Nah. Let's install the doors. Why change up a good thing? Okay. So I remembered to charge my watch, but I forgot to put it on my wrist. 11. Nah, we'll shrink it after. So it's 11 right now. I have 2 doors coming in at 1 o'clock. Zeus!
Zeus the Detailer super chatted $4.99. I have ran out of money, thanks for answering my questions, Matt. Soon you will see Zeus the Tinted
God! What's that up there? That's interesting. That's probably okay, right? Thank you for all the supers. Zeus with another 5. I ran out of money. Thanks for answering all my questions. Soon you'll see Zeus the Tinted. Very nice. I really appreciate it, man. You didn't have to do so many. But yeah, feel free to ask more questions, man. I'll answer them whether or not that they're supered or not. Because it really is an interesting conversation going from detailing to window tinting or adding it as a service. I'll repeat myself a little bit here, but I really saw this a while ago and didn't understand it in the beginning because I thought more services, more money. But I mean, yeah, you got to have the right people to do those jobs, and that's when they really make more money for the business. Just being able to do them doesn't make sense. So having the right people, adding them, and then each one of those things, honestly, it's funny how this works. So it just depends on your clientele and how your business is. But it works well for some, and it doesn't work well for other ones. So as an auto accessories company, I think it probably has to do with their general income too. So I tinted for an auto accessories company. And I figured that went hand in hand with window tint. But what we would often see is so many people coming in for a stereo, speakers, remote starter, and they would get one thing. Because that's probably what they budgeted for. So if they came in for window tint, they'd pretty much get window tint. If they came in for detailing, they'd pretty much get detailing. Well, those shops didn't do detailing. So it wasn't till we went to some of the higher end detailing companies and stuff where they're already spending some money and then they would add window tint with it. But even then still, there was a lot of people that wouldn't get both. They were pretty much there for the one service. I don't know why that was, but that's just how a lot of these situations are. So like I noticed this on my own website too. You would think that when somebody orders window tint tools, they would also order window company. I like it.
Devon Willis super chatted $10. Started window tinting to expand
kind of
my
thought of that,
detailing business.
but
Received
I didn't.
my order from you today
I
in
went
2
ahead
days.
with it anyways.
Thanks
I like
for
how
the
it just
products
blasts
and all the
everything
knowledge in your
to the
videos.
side. That's a good one. What was I saying? Okay, there's a super chat there. You know, I love that little holder there, but it blocks that bottom message every time. So then I have to like move. Devin with the 10, thank you. Started window tinting to expand my detailing business. Received my order from you in 2 days. Thanks for the products and all the knowledge in your videos. Dude, thank you for the 10. You're very welcome. That was a really nice message. Good luck, man. Okay, so I was talking a little bit about, what was it? Moved on to the store. So I have window film and I have tools. And what's kind of funny is you would think, at least I thought, when you have both available, people are ordering window film, yeah, it makes sense to also order tools. But most people actually order those things independent of each other. So if there's a order for film, they'll order film. And then if there's an order for tools, there's typically no film. It's weird how that works. And I noticed similar things with just some of these companies. So some people will bring their cars in for complete transformations, get paint protection film, window film, and a lot of stuff. But, and a lot of the companies that I've worked with, a lot of those things can also be very individualized. So if they do window film, then they're kind of there for window film. But it is nice to have an option to add some of like the easier, you know, because they're spending a decent amount of money with you. So like some of the smaller stuff. So in the paint protection world, that would be like door edge guards, small pieces, door cups, edge guards, hood, like little partial hood strip or something like that. Window film, that would be like front doors and a windshield strip. Little easier add-ons. But I guess it just depends on who you're tinting for. Just a weird observation. But thank you guys for all the supers today. I really appreciate that. There's quite a few just right in the beginning here. Uh-oh, it shut off. Bam. Ba-da-doo. Probably one of the ugliest car chimes ever. And it's been around for so long. Stop it. I had to live with it for a while. Maybe that's why I don't like it. I had an Escape, and I had an Explorer. So this seal is a little bit farther down, like most Fords are, but still really easy to tuck. I like how they make these so straight, and then and they added these front quarter windows and kind of made the fusions annoying for window tinters, just because they have that little extra window. They're not hard to tint, they're just tedious. Medico ceramic. I haven't touched the stuff. I have no idea, actually. I don't know much about Medico. Ooh! Dang! Thank you. Uh-oh. Was this a big delay? Oh, there it is. Oh, dang.
John the ST super chatted $19.99.
It's a big one.
What would be your advice starting a mobile detailing business?
Huh. I don't specialize in detailing, so that one's going to be a little bit harder for me to answer. I would watch a lot of other people that have started mobile detailing businesses. Some broad advice that you can kind of take over from window tinting is just get started as soon as you can, because every business suffers from the same things, and that's always trying to get your name out there, get your business started. So don't overplan anything, just get going with it. See what little you can actually start with, and take that money that you're making and put it right back into getting more stuff for your business to make it better, and get the most important things for it. So if you're starting a detailing business, like I see some people doing it out of their vehicle, or they get a big fancy trailer because they need all these extra things. Just whatever the minimums, at least that you need to get started, just get started as soon as you can, and then everything else will fill in as you go on. Because that's one thing that I really struggled with my own business. I overplanned my home garage so much that I was like, oh, but I just want to dress it up, and then I got to get my website together, and then I got to get this together. And then my wife asked me, she's like, okay, so when are you actually going to get started? And I had been tinting for a long time. But I always had that hang up where it can be almost so fun to overplan it, and then you have that fear of failure too. So you just got to get started as soon as you can, and then fail forward. But yeah, somebody in chat said also let friends and family know, try and get practice vehicles. And I mean, it's detailing, so I guess what's nice about that is you can always clean something a little bit further. With window tint, it's kind of like a one-shot go. So when I tint something and it doesn't work out, I have to waste more material. But I'm unfortunately not a mobile detailer, so I don't know the specifics, but there's hopefully some broad advice for you. I appreciate that a lot. If you have any other questions, let me know. Matt, you're my boy. Do you have any tips for not working hard but making fat stacks? Everything's work. Everything is work on some level. But I actually do have a little suggestion for stuff like that too. Try and find stuff that is infinitely scalable, but know that those things are usually very saturated too, so it can be hard to get those things going. So that's one reason I'm really proud of my little online store here. It's infinitely scalable. But I can only tint so many cars in a day. So, and it's much harder to, like, I could bring in more tinters and have more people tinting, and then you end up making more money overall, but it is more headache too. But if you want to work less, that's not a bad route to go. But unfortunately, everything's work. Did I do this? I don't remember. I always enjoy talking about the businessy stuff. Ooh. Ooh. Did you have a business before you opened up a shop? Because one, congratulations. I recently went full-time tinting, leased a building. I'm in Ohio and things have been really slow. When does business ramp up? I advertise on Facebook and I'm on Google. Things will ramp up more in the summertime. But also you recently opened it up. So it takes time to build that. I've had the same thing here. Some weeks get super busy and working with other companies. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Things will just slow down, but especially this time of year in the winter, it's notoriously slow. So when spring comes around, tax season, people start warming up. They get around to tinting their cars. So even with being on Google and Facebook, like, I didn't really have much luck with Facebook ads. Google, I didn't really try them. But I hear good things. But again, it's usually like $1, $2 per click to get somebody over to your site. I always suggest take advantage of the slow time and work on all that extra stuff. Make videos. I mean, ads have to get more and more creative nowadays. It's not so much just post pretty pictures with specials or any of that. People are so used to seeing that. The creative is the difference. So when you start posting videos about educating your own potential clients about what you do, then you become a resource. So big suggestion is make your website into a resource for potential clients. So if they're searching in your area, tint laws, care instructions, anything that you'd want to know about ceramic or window film in general, it could be on your website. They don't have to go elsewhere. Turn it on, turns back off. But yeah, wintertime's not the fun time. But I dealt with it too. I still do. Expel over Lumar. Print is great. Oh wait, no, that's a username. Get this thing tucked in. So every time this car turns off and then turns back on, it wants to run the heater again. Oh, I gotta put this thing on a charger. That was way too fast. This battery, I already thought it was kind of fast. We're gonna put a charger on it though. That'll help keep this thing going. Top off the battery so when he picks it up, it's all good. Everyone is live. Good stuff, man. It's an interesting ecosystem now. It's cool. What happens when everybody live streams? That's why I think it's so cool for your own clients. They get to see behind the scenes with exactly what goes on with their car. And then it's also like, it's a very shareable thing too. But at least video. Oh no. Oh no. tape out. I keep flipping through the channels just like TV. Well, this is the best one. Duh. Anything in a Hyundai Venue? To be honest, I'd have to look at it. I don't remember ever tinting a Venue. I probably have, like once. Hyundais are usually pretty easy, so should be good. They're not as quirky as the what was that weird Veloster? Yeah, the Veloster. Where like they're all individual windows. Nothing on that is identical to the other side. It's like 3 doors on one side, one on the other. Goofy windows and weird bottom. I've been trying to tint the taillights on a 17 Fusion. Do you have any tips for a DIY guy? Material makes a huge difference. So wrapping taillights is a whole nother skill. Because I think it's like, I mean, vinyl wrapping is its own skill. But wrapping taillights, like they're small pieces, but they sometimes have such intricate curves. This one, not so bad. But it's all about stretching. So just take the material, tack it on one side, and try and just stretch it into place on the other side if you got a kit. But also, whatever material that you're working with greatly changes the difficulty. I always suggest getting something like Vivid or Luxe. It's a dry application. It's got an air release glue. Some of the cheap kits will be like this thick rubbery material, and you just not have a fun time with it. But on a 17 Fusion, this actually shouldn't be too bad for you. The best thing I can tell you about lights, or about wrapping, is everything always stretches. So you see these fingers and stuff. But when you stretch it, that stuff will kind of lay itself down. So everything's got to be like warm. Like you'd use probably like a hairdryer to warm it up. You don't have to get super hot with any of that. Window tint, you need more than a hairdryer though. But on window tint, you're gonna see me shrink. Vinyl and stuff, you stretch. I did the chrome delete and it wasn't too bad. Oh, then you should have a pretty good time then. Something that I do not specialize in though, even though it's window tint. I specialize in the windows. Is there ever a time you need to wet shrink GeoShield? No. I mean, technically on doors, that's the way I do it. So I just snap shrink the bottom. You can still individually shrink stuff. No, wet shrinking is just a different style. It's not gonna make your life easier, in my opinion. It's just a different way of doing the same thing. And more people prefer doing dry shrinking. So that's really it. You'll see people wet shrink. It's just because they like to do it. Just like baby powder. Some people just like baby powder. I don't like it, but some people do. See, if you can do your own taillights, then start doing other people's taillights, and before you know it, you'll be wrapping taillights all day and making good side money there. No joke. With Luxe, it'd be probably $200 to $250 to wrap taillights. I tint a whole car for like $290, so.
Classic City Tint Super Chatted
Potential to make good money on
$1.99. Hey Matt, how do you smooth your Fusion squeegees?
Fusion squeegees? Is that because we're doing a fusion? I forgot. I gotta put this on a... I think on the low end I would hear like 150 for taillights. But taillights are something that not a lot of people end up doing, especially window tint shops. Not a lot of them do it. It's more a vinyl wrap shop thing. So people will call around looking for a place to do their taillights. And the material can be expensive too. So that's where you gotta charge more for it. And because it's like more intricate little things than... But from there, you learn how to do taillights and you could probably wrap a full car. All right, so before the battery ultimately dies on this thing, we should get this on the charger. Fusion, why you gotta do that? Why you gotta put the terminal all the way back there? We're just gonna have to use that little guy right there. You just threw away your quarters. No, I did. Oh, and I thought I was cleaning up the car. Damn. Didn't mean to do that one. That's on 35 carbon. I gotta get another piece. I can't. I always go off the back, right? Well, not this time. Yeah, that'll work. Where's my... Thinking. Because we still need a heat gun. Where's my other... Oh, no. I got one here. There it is. That's where that extension cord is. All stuck in clay down here. That's fun. Put this puppy on a jumper. It's always a helpful thing to do, especially in the wintertime. And if your car shuts off while you're tinting it, then definitely do it. Because you're going to go to start this car, and it's not going to want to start. I think we're good. Ding, ding, ding. Yep. What were we talking about? I feel like we were talking about some important stuff. I need to go do that. Do we get the back door? No, still got the back door to do. 11:30. So if it's 11:30, $12:31. So we got about an hour and a half before my next appointment. Not bad. Oh yeah, my quarters. Oh, shoot. That's no fun. Oh, and then somebody asked about sharpening up a Fusion squeegee blade. So, I still have yet to try sandpaper, but I've got kind of an overkill sharpening station that I really like. I have a vise over there, and I put just a couple of vise brackets on it. So then I clamp down on my squeegee blade, and then I'll take my knife and just run it across those brackets, and you get a perfectly straight edge across it. I have sandpaper too that I'm gonna have to try, but I don't know. I thought it was an interesting way to do it. But the farther you get down on this squeegee blade, like it started out here and now it's here, so it's not as flexible. So I'm gonna flip it over and use this other side here. There'll be a point where I have to just get a new squeegee blade anyways. But I've been using this one probably like 3 or 4 months, I think. Which is a good amount of time. No, wait. Maybe. Probably longer than that, actually. The hard card sharpener works on squeegees. Yeah, and I successfully have done it. And then I ruin a squeegee blade inevitably. So, if you want a real cheap way to do it, little $5 plastic tool, the hard card sharpeners works pretty well, but if you mess it up, it's real hard to fix that blade, I've found. So I like the consistency of the vise, but it's a little bit more of like a station setup than something that you can take around with you or throw in your toolbox. The trick is wetting it. I have done that though. I've still managed to mess them up. Like, I did them okay. Like, I did it a handful of times, like, okay, cool. I'm getting pretty good at this now. And then I needed to do it one day, and it just didn't go well, and I completely jacked up that blade. And that was while I was on the go. So I'm overusing that one. What? I don't understand. Wedding will make fingers. What now? Quarters. What are we gonna do about that? I really wanted to cut them out on the plotter, but I really don't want to load it up with a 40. But I suppose, yeah, you know, there's no reason not to, I guess. What year is this? It's a 13. 13? I thought they changed the shifters in like 12 or something. They had like the turn dial shifters for like a little while. That's when the back deck got a little bit easier, but on this one it's not. So I don't know. All right, let's pull this wherever we can get it. So I'll do that door, then we'll tackle some quarter windows, and then... So this little guy right here, there's two ways to... well, plus sandpaper, I guess. You can take... So there's like a little blade in here, and I have a video dedicated for this. You can take your squeegee blade, wet this, and then run it along the side of this tool. This is a hard card sharpener. and then it'll shear a perfect strip off of your squeegee blade. The only problem that can happen is just sometimes it just won't shear it quite right, and then it'll create a worse spot in your blade, and then it's really hard to go and fix it. This is my other way of doing it. So I have a little angled bracket here, or vise, and then I'll throw my squeegee blade in here, tighten it up, take my knife, and shear it off. I think we're gonna switch over to the blue side though. So I guess we can just do an example of what that would be. It's been a while since I've used this blue side, but I don't see why not use it. People will ask if I switch to the orange crush, because then they'll be like, whoa, it's not blue anymore. What happened? So clamp down. Do I have enough blade? Yes, I do. So then I'll just take this and then shear that off. Loosen it back up. And then put that back in there, and ba-bam, we got a fresh blade. Did you visit Chicago Auto Pros? I did. I actually taught a class there. I helped teach a window tint class there last year. I bought that though. They had a giveaway they were doing, but I just saw a Chicago Auto Pros skateboard. I'm like, heck yeah. I thought it was pretty cool. I had to hang it up. I really like that. I'm like, for whatever reason, ordering like t-shirt swag, not so much, but every once in a while a company will come out with something that like speaks to me. That's one of those things that's like, oh dude, I gotta get that. I used to skateboard. The most I can do now is probably ride on a board and ollie. I was never super great. I did it a lot, but I was never super great at anything. I could jump down a couple stairs. There's no wheels on it though. That one's just for display. My board is actually at home. I should bring it in though. I have a snowboard too. Snowboarding was fun. More expensive though. It was more expensive for a lift ticket back when I was in high school. But yeah, you could follow a lot more snowboarding. And it was a lot easier on you. I hate the cold, so that's why I never really wanted to go back a whole ton. So I went for like a season. Oh yeah, this is fresh. So I went for like a season, and I still have my snowboard, which is too small for me now, but yeah. I like skateboarding. Skateboarding, snowboarding, all the X sports. Those are my favorite to watch. Not so much the BMX biking, but do you have Tony Hawk posters? I don't think I ever had a skater poster, but really like skateboarding, going to the shop. And then unfortunately, we didn't get a skate park in my area until much, much later. So it was always street skating, or we'd go to like an industrial park. When they're closed. Anybody take the Glass Aid stickers off the package and put them all over the shop? Nice! I never thought anybody would do that. That's cool. Oh, I did play a lot of Tony Hawk Pro Skater though, for sure. That game was the best. I listened to quite a few interviews with him. He's a really interesting guy to listen to. He was, so people ask him a lot, obviously about his skating career, but just about like his business career too. He was not popular in skateboarding for the longest time. He had his own way of doing it, and the way he was doing it was not a popular way to do it. So he felt like an outcast in what he considered an outcast thing. So most people like didn't look at skateboarding fondly. So then even with all the other skaters, they didn't really like him. But he'd go to every competition. That's how he started bringing up his name. It was cool. It's crazy how he talks about years, though. So, like, some of these guys, I mean, they just hammer through doing the exact same thing for years and years just because they enjoy doing it. And then one year, it makes sense, and then everybody else starts doing it. It's crazy. What's that question? Oh, the chair. Do you see a benefit for folding your edges up instead of rolling them in? I'm trying to understand. So like the way that I fold them up here versus rolling them in? This is just how I've always done it. I've tried to like butt the film against the sides and kind of leave it more like this. At the time, it didn't seem to work out very well. Probably because I was more used to doing it the other way. But anything that you can do to kind of alleviate any like sharp tension spots is a good thing. So this is just what I'm more comfortable with doing. I think a couple of times I tried pulling the whole liner, but I couldn't do it mobile. But I actually should try it again here. So like I do carpet shield, right? So there's actually no reason why I couldn't peel the entire piece of film and try and two-stage it without the liner there. And then maybe I'd have an easier time at the top. But I wouldn't do that without this kind of being covered up. I don't think wiping it is quite as good. I want to check my watch, but I didn't bring it. 11:45. Cool. We got quarter windows. Got quarter windows. Oh my god, that was dumb. What's the difference with what? TSER? TSER is like total solar energy rejection. There's just different ways of measuring it. You can measure direct IR, and you can also kind of fudge some of those numbers. So, to be honest, I don't really pay attention to spec sheets a whole lot. It's kind of like, I don't know, just looking at sheer horsepower and stuff and not understanding the overall picture. There's more than just spec sheets. So sometimes we would see engineers coming in here, and then they'd look at the numbers on the spec sheet and go like, I want this film. But, or you could like sit there and discuss them with the customer, but that's what a heat box is there for. For me, it's all about like, what do you feel and what does it look like? So the IR, that's just measuring the infrared spectrum. And the TSER is the total solar energy. Just a different way of measuring it. So the IR spectrum, that's what you feel. So that's why you see so much emphasis getting put on it now, especially because you can tout really, really strong numbers now. But how clear is that film? What is the coloring? What does it look like? How does it handle? All those little things. All those things. IR makes up 54% of heat. TSER is the average UV, VLT, IR. That makes sense. IR is what people boast about. But some companies will only measure particular spectrums too. So sometimes in those IR numbers, they can be fudged. You would see like an asterisk or something. So the IR is like a total, it's getting really technical. So with IR, there's a spectrum to it. It's measured in nanometers. So you can measure, like it can be this wide, and you can actually specifically measure at this point, this point, this point, or the whole thing. So some companies, their films will perform better in certain ranges, and then they'll tote those numbers. What head camera? I'm using the GoPro 10 with HDMI transmitter attached to it. And then I have the Max Lens mod to help keep everything extra stable. Oh yeah, we have the speed all the way up. Let's make it 500. Softwares. Canon. Why don't you use the film from the back for the quarters? Because it's the wrong shade. We're doing 20 on the back. I thought about that for half a second, and I've actually accidentally done it too many times. But it's the wrong shade. Because I threw out the rest of the scraps, so my bad. So we're like 2013 Ford Fusion. We need some front quarters. Hopefully these are worth doing this. Look at that. We can put a whole bunch of them because we're doing a 40. Wow. Yeah, let's just do that. If we can't get it off of that, then what good are we? Click cut. Oops. IWFA manufacturers have to use a standardized testing and performance literature. Yeah, but there's lots of companies that don't do that. I wonder if any of them pull a Volvo or VW. I can't stand. Excuse me. I can't stand when people look at my car. Most road ragers are judgmental assholes who size you up before getting in their car and walking over. That's a good reason to get tint then, huh? Road ragers. I always kind of smile and wave to the people that are super angry, if it's deserved. Like, I don't get in a battle with them. I know it makes it worse if you smile and wave too. So I don't know. There's one time that was at a few cars back from an intersection. And I was kind of blocking the drive to like pull out, but I couldn't move anywhere. So the guy was like honking at me to move, and I'm like, hi, I can't move anywhere. He got real angry. But I didn't know what he wanted me to do either. He didn't have a good answer for me. Solar Guard pulled up on me the other day trying to sell me their film and software. Well, cool. You're getting big enough to get noticed. I hear good things about their software. Their film, good company, been in business a long time. What I never really liked was, like, most of their films were thinner. I don't know if that's changed now, but I never really understood why they were thinner. They have like the Galaxy line that was a 1.5 mil, and all their other stuff was thin stuff. They're the oddball company in that. Just like Lumar's the oddball company with rolling their film in the other direction of everybody else. Thanks for signing my triage. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for the order, man. Yeah, I put out a community post. If anybody wanted a triage, if you ordered a triage and you wanted it signed or something, just reply to the order email and I'll be more than happy to send you one out. So the question here is, did we waste some time or did we save time? They gave me a sample and it feels thin. Most of their stuff is 1 mil, or at least it was at the time. Tissue paper. But they have long-lasting tissue paper. It's a little bit long. Let's see if we can fix that. The rest of the cut is pretty good. It's just a little bit on the long side, though. I used this sign triage yesterday for the extra luck it'll bring. I hope it'll last. So we fixed it, trimmed it off a little bit. These quarters are a little funny. There's like there's a hard rubber border here. So if you're too far, oh, maybe we need to go a little farther. So if you're too long, you're gonna ride right on that bottom edge. So gotta cut it a little short. So these patterns, they're the right shape. They're just a tad bit long for my liking. I've seen people double shrink. Does that actually work? Yeah, it's a roundabout way of doing the same thing. So, like, what is the point? Why not just shrink it right the first time? So you can shrink, like, I mean, I don't know. There's so many little things like that that starts to get confusing. So they'll double shrink the doors or something. It's kind of hard at this point to really illustrate what's going on there. But you can just snap shrink it and you're doing effectively the exact same thing. But sometimes it's good to shrink it, get everything to kind of lay down, and then when you pick it back up, you've swept out some water, some air, and you're kind of just like, it's all floating in a nice even way, and then you're putting that heat over a much more even surface than individual fingers. So I think it's just another way to do the same thing. You don't have to do it individually. I wonder if we should like pre-cut this then. Just shave off like a 1/4 of an inch, and then we'll see what happens. Like, this might be too much. Oh, that's something different. Shrinking both doors at the same time? Yeah, you can do that. There's so many little terms around. People call stuff the same thing. So if you're double shrinking 2 doors together, that's different. Yeah, you can do that. You're giving one door a little bit more attention than the other side, but shouldn't be any problems with it. You don't need a whole lot on most doors, so let's see. Let's see if we fixed it. Sure enough. Yep. That made it real nice there. That's cool. Now there's no trimming on the inside. They're just a little bit long. That makes these way more fun. These really aren't that bad though. They're pretty straightforward on the 1/4 spectrum. They have nice little borders around the whole thing, so as long as you size it damn near perfect, it'll just fit right in there. So that was good. They just need to make the patterns just a little bit shorter. Make a mental note to do it on the next one. I know it, right? How does that work? Aren't you shaping the film to the opposite shape? Well, if your patterns are reversed, like, it's just about having that curve. So one pattern is faced one way and one pattern is faced opposite, right? That's how you double cut. But when you're shrinking them together, you can't really have like a backward shrink to it. It'll work. It's like a bowl, but that bowl's not rigid, so you could flip it inward or you could flip it back that way. So I could, like for example, I could take this film, flip it upside down, shrink it, and then flip it back over and still install it. The curve is essentially the same. It's just flexed one way, and then when you're installing it, it'll flex back the other way. It's totally fine. Not sure how else to describe that, but essentially that. All right, back window. So, tacked in the middle, tacked on the sides lightly, and then we'll probably pick it up. We have some good shrinking videos with Fusion. I think one of the better ones that we have on this channel is a Fusion. Fusion's just a decent sized window with a nice medium amount of shrink to it. It'll save a handful of seconds, yeah, you can definitely do it. I just never really got in the habit of doing it. I don't know. I don't have a good reason for it either, other than I'll flip my patterns opposite. So the film is on the outside of both when I'm double cutting them together. So if I'm squeegeeing over that, there's more chance that I'm gonna scratch something with like a card, if I end up using a card or whatnot. So then I'll just flip them back normal, put them on their respective doors, and then just go ahead and shrink them. The Mac Tactics newer. It's the same one still. I think we've been using the same one since I've gotten the Detroit Tint Studio ones in. When you bought your plotter, did a tech help you, or did you... So... trying to think... I have a weird tint history. So, I was working at my dad's auto accessory shop, not as a tinter at the time, and then our window tinter quit, and then he brought in his business partner to help teach me. But we had a plotter sitting in the back room for, I don't know, 7 years maybe before I started, I think. I think they got it somewhere in like 2005. So that old Graphtec plotter with the mustache that you see in all my old videos, that plotter is still running to this day. It's still used as the main plotter in that shop. Those Graphtecs are workhorses, man. They'll just go forever. They beat the crap out of it, too. So, there was a guy there. This was at another store entirely, though. So it moved from our Taylor location, which was Ameristar at the time, to Auto Tint City, a few miles down the road. and there was a guy there. I think he initially showed me how to use it, and then a good amount of it was just learning trial and error over time, how to kind of like fine tune it. Because in the beginning, you're not sure what is causing your problems. They're not hard machines to run. They're just finicky to set up. So you put out a little bit of blade, you adjust the force settings primarily, you have it at a decent speed, and it's just about fine-tuning how much blade to put out and how many grams that pressure should be at, or however they measure it. Once you get those two things dialed in, just leave it alone. Don't touch it. And you'll be good for like a solid year, and then you gotta mess with it again. All right, so remember that this bottom edge here has to be cut a little bit tight. Because some of this deck lid presses really tight against my back window. So we wanna just make that easy to slide in there. I don't remember where I put my light. It's sitting around here somewhere. Actually, it's probably sitting down there. There it is. I found it. I thought of where it probably wasn't. Then I found it. How much are yours? What, plotters? Oh, they're not mine. This one, the workhorse, this you can find at Plotter Depot. That's $1,700, I think. I wouldn't go much cheaper than that. There's the workhorse 2, which is sitting behind that wall that we have to unbox and take a look at. They're pretty proud of it versus the workhorse 1, but they're working on a workhorse 3 as well. But that's going to be probably about another year. Do you have a Detroit Tint Studio MacTac? It's a felt card, thank you. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so these are on the My Tint Stuff site. The OGs are the MacTacs. I think MacTac is the brand. At least that's what I was first introduced. I have them. I have one sitting around here. MacTac's going to be a little firmer. All right, we need a towel. And then we'll get this back window installed. Well, that's funny. Do you gotta be on for these to work, or is this just... Oh, there it goes. That was funny. Do you need... Oh, Are you able to use a plotter for the back window? Yep. Yep, for sure. I think it's one of the most helpful places. If you're going to use a plotter, back windows, it's one of those things that will definitely save you some time. So ideally, plotters are great to have somebody using it for you and setting up the patterns as you're doing the shrinking and installing. Look at it like a extra set of hands, low-level employee that's being an assistant. How many cars do you schedule on a normal day? Well, lately I've been doing one, and it's been fantastic. So, to keep live streams going, I need to have probably about an hour extra of time on a regular car to not feel like I'm under a bunch of stress and pressure. So things definitely slowed down for me over the winter, just like a lot of people. Not as slow as last year was. Last year, I think, when did we move in? October, so that was like our first thing, and then really last winter was like our first real winter, and then this is our second one. So we've steadily had more appointments than last year. And they come scraggling in here and there, sometimes when I least expect it, and then the days will pad up for a little while, and then they'll slow back down. And so in order to keep a lot of the streams going, I've typically been scheduling things like one full thing a day, and then I can do some small stuff after that. So for under like regular shop conditions, where I'm not trying to stream, like I was pretty content with doing like 4 cars in a day, and then maybe like a little extra work. That was usually a pretty good busy day. So like that was mostly like sides and rear. And then if a couple sets of front doors come in, or somebody with a full windshield, that's not a big deal to add in. What marketing or advertising have you found is best while building your business? As a regular shop, it's tough to say. I mean, the landscape is always changing. So a lot of people do Facebook and Google ads. I don't know if Facebook is necessarily quite as strong as it used to be, but I think you have to change your creative a little bit more. So there's a lot more guys that are posting regular Facebook ads, so now you're just competing against the exact same stuff. So you always have to put a little bit more into the creative. I think being an educational resource for your clients is probably the best route to go. So if you tailor your like web presence in a way to be a resource of like legal laws, information about ceramic and other types of window film, then you'll find a different type of clientele. But Google, I mean, YouTube might be halfway interesting. YouTube might be a good way to do it. I haven't looked at them into doing localized ads on YouTube, but I'm sure you could. You gotta make videos. Not full YouTube videos, but you can make video ads for your business. After you install a back window, you care to show what you got in your pouch. I'm constantly going back and forth to my toolbox. Ooh, you gotta carry everything on hand. I have a picture. But yeah, I can show you. It might be a little empty because I took everything out of my tool belt for the picture. So the upcoming class that I have, pretty much giving away a full tool set with it. So I was trying to think if there's anything extra special out of there. Okay, so look at what I'm dealing with here. See that deck lid where it starts to bump into my film a little bit? On these sides, there's a little bit more room. On the middle, there's a little room. And then in these little spots here and here, it pinches. So, that's one reason I cut this a little bit shorter or tight along that bottom edge, just so I knew I wouldn't be trying to shove extra material down there. Sometimes I've cut it exact or a little bit wide, so it starts butting up to the bottom, and then you have gaps here, and then once you cover these gaps, you're shoving more material down that center. That's been the biggest issue. You can lift the latches above the seats and pull the deck lids back. Oh, that's helpful. So you can pull these. Oh, and these pins, and then this decal push. That's a pro tip right there, my dude. I appreciate that one. That's what I do on the MKZs with the sunroof. I pull the deck lids out of those. Or I pull them back just a little bit. Found out we could do that also on the Challengers. Somebody gave me a hot tip about that one. Ford decks come out pretty easily. That makes sense. So see how that tint starts bunching up there? That's what you want to be real careful about. Where's my side swipe? There we go. So what would happen without cutting that tight, or somebody in chat pointed out pulling the deck lid forward and freeing up some space, that tent will then bunch up in those two little points right there or right there. So you go to like swipe it all out, and you'll have like a little air pocket there, and then you'll just like crunch a crease there because that film has nowhere to go. And if you do that, you are not getting it out. Start over. Yeah, I don't like taking much apart either, but I would definitely pull this deck forward. That makes sense. That's really easy to do. That's really easy to do on something like this. Very nice. think I saw a little hair there or something. Is that what that was? That is. Oh, that's all this. Little fiberish hairs coming off of this paneling right here. The new Elantras are stupid tight. Oh, that's no fun. I haven't had an Elantra in a long time. That is not one I would put on my shit list. But I guess now I have to. A little fiber coming in off of the side panel. This has little like sharp ridges here, so it looks like it just started when people wipe off the back window. It looks like it was pulling little fibers off. Makes sense. Neat. The new Elantras are easy if you bottom load. Top loading is a nightmare. I'd imagine they'd be pretty easy to pull the sweeps on those too, huh? You know me though, if we get one, I'll be stubborn about pulling them. I'm curious to see. Because I was hearing similar things about like the K5s, and I'll still use stage a K5 all day. Pretty much any other things. I think this is our old squeegee. Oh, it is. This one. This is our newer one. I need to do something about the older ones. That's better. Nice. Looking good. We got one little air finger there. Get that guy out. Ew, that's no fun. So on the Elantras, the panel is basically like pinched against the glass. Oh, that's healthy design right there. Nice. You didn't like the IKEA squeegee? No. No, it's pretty crap. I mean, it's good for flat windows. And all these are like flat windowed squeegees. This one just happens to, like, just the way that it's shaped, it just happens to follow these curves a little bit better. I haven't found a better one. So I always pick up a few whenever I see them now. It's like streak free. Scrub it. Use a towel, use that squeegee. You have like a streak-free window and there's no reason to clean it again, and you can see all your imperfections super easily. Versus taking a towel and smearing it all over the glass a bunch of times. It's just faster. You don't wet a bunch of microfiber towels. Thanks for educating the unworthy. Wow. I wouldn't say that. That's rude. What is that? Oh, something fell back there a while ago. I was wondering if this was one of those fusion deck lids that disintegrates, but I've never ran into one. I don't know what's up. I've seen like some people tinting these fusion back glasses, or having a couple of them randomly show up, And then it's just like they'll spray the deck lid and they just completely disintegrate. Maybe it was just they've sat out in the sun way too long in some hot states. I don't know. I've never seen them here. Nice. Okay. You Frankie the back windows, reverse roll windshields. Why do you do them differently? Back windows aren't quite as wide, and they're just easier to do it. And it's the first thing that I ever learned. I had to teach myself reverse rolling, and I've never been super happy with trying to reverse roll a back window, and they're all easy enough to just carry the film in, where with windshields they're always wider and there's more room for failure on a windshield, it seems like. So whenever I carried in a full windshield, like this is why I taught myself how to reverse roll on a windshield. There were little crinkles or something. I'd typically try and put them on the passenger side if I could. So here is kind of like where the film would start flopping down. It's just a bigger, wider window in most cases. So I did it for a little while and then taught myself how to reverse roll. But when I tried to take reverse rolling over to the back window, the thing that always drives me crazy about reverse rolling is the paneling. And it kind of gets in the way more on the back windows than it does on the windshields to me. So deck lids kind of pinch down, you can have third brake lights in the way, and windshields are typically a little bit more accessible and upright. Back windows are kind of like this tunnel to where you could unroll and then you start getting into the side here, and that's where I start having more issues. So I'd still pull the liner early and everything. But that, along with just the amount of time that it took too, so I spend a little bit more time prepping a reverse roll. And then with Frankenstein, I can just peel it and go. So I'd much rather just Frankenstein a windshield, but they just don't turn out quite as nice. As soon as I started doing Frankenstein or reverse rolling on a windshield, I was like, oh, it's so much smoother. But back windows are still fine. Do you think we can get... No, probably not. I was going to try and get one more out of it, but I wiped it off with a towel, so I like half prepped it. It's peeling off. We'll just do the other on the other side. Where'd my knife go? Did that fall? It did. Wow, we got like 1/4 left. What time is it? 12:30? Perfect. Got enough time to just take a little time, clean it all up. Making good time. Not looking forward to doing one of these. If you haven't done a lot else, Fusion probably, isn't going to be super fun, but they're really not. Like, I consider these pretty standard. But I think they discontinued these. When When you started reverse rolling, did you ever have problems keeping the film on the glass? Getting past the mirror. Yep. Yep, I did. Trying to keep a reverse roll a little bit tighter will help. And then don't rush yourself. You can take your time with a reverse roll. I get about a third of the way, sometimes a little bit farther, and then I also start pulling the liner off too. You can see that in a lot of the live streams when I pull it. And then I try not to rush them. You can keep a little bit more soap in your bottle, keep things slidey. So on colder days, those windshields will be a little bit more forgiving. On hot days, everything will just tack up a little bit faster. So it's nice when you can kind of just take your time with it. Literally right as I say it. Starts to tack up. Yeah, add a little bit more soap in your bottle. And, I mean, when you shrunk that whole window, you got that glass hot too. So you could spray water and just give it time to cool off before you go and install it. Anytime you shrink window and put heat to it, you're warming up that glass some. So when it's summertime, it's going to take way longer for it to do that. So you could spray as much water on the outside as you want. Oh, God. Go. You're welcome. Trust me, I didn't think of that till much later either. I was doing, where I'd get hung up was frameless doors. It sounds so simple, but so I will bottom load frameless doors, but I don't pull seals or anything on it. I just install it, tuck the whole thing in, all in one go. But when I really noticed it was like on a Corvette. I'd sit there for like 10 minutes shrinking that window at the time. Or like, as silly as it was, like a Mustang. Some windows just seem to tack up much faster. So I'd shrink the window, and then I'd go to immediately install it afterwards. And the hardest part to tuck is the bottom, and that's where the most heat went. Well, then I touch the glass, and I'm like, oh, this is still warm. So then I just spray the glass and give it time to cool off, and I had a much easier time tucking it in places. But you can also just add some more soap, have an extra soapy spray bottle or something. Did you guys catch the alligator window tint interview over on Patrick's channel? That was a hot tip. I've heard of that too. But it's just nice to know. It makes sense. Having like a super soapy spray bottle just on hand when you're trying to tuck in windows that are extra tight or something, and just giving them some more slide. It was a good watch. I think he needs to change his title, but it was a good watch. Are you shaving frameless doors? What is your preference on frameless? I just cut them close still. It's, believe it or not, like I've messed around with it, but I don't have anything ultra consistent. I mean, the most consistent that I've had is just taking a torch, drying the whole thing out, and then shaving it off. I would like to be better at it. But people that get their cars tinted here are pretty stoked about it. So it's just one of those things where it's like, it's not going to make or break the job. It's just one of those little extra things that I think would be nice to do. But I still haven't really found something other than that. Like, I'd like to have a more universal thing that I could also do on framed windows. But hey, maybe someday. Maybe someday we can go to South Korea and train with the master himself. I'm trash at shaving. I keep trying, though. I mean, I've gotten a little better at it, but it's so inconsistent. Sometimes it just works well, and then sometimes it doesn't. It really is like the feel. The feel of it really matters. See, this one's funny. Look at that. Look at that rubber poking out. Same. Back to back. I cut my top edge with a 30-degree carbon and it's pretty solid. And then the next comment, I just cut with my 30-degree carbon and let it ride. Yeah, and it's stupid close. So, like, if you do it right, I mean, you get so close that it's damn near indistinguishable. So I think most people just don't even notice. But on Frameless, you're right. I think having that, like, that buttery smooth top edge with, like, a blade or a file, I like that idea. For sure. I've seen people shave on the outside and then gives a good micro edge on the inside. Interesting. Yeah, what's nice is, like, for most people, I mean, for, like, most, yeah, most anything, cutting it on the outside, getting it stupid close, like, that's more than good enough. You might be surprised how terrible some top edges really are. So it's just, I don't know. I made the switch from Geo to I made the switch to Geo from Matico. Matico is crease mania. Really? Interesting. I've never messed around with it. Heard of them? Haven't used them though. So yeah, what I mean by, so close here, because I do this a lot, I don't talk about it too much, but touch-ups, little fold. Really what it does for me is just create a small finger in here and a small spot that you can just put some extra heat and get to lay flat. So that's what I do. I just iron those out. Canon. Oh, that was a good time. Hello, Tint Studio. How can I help you? Did you quote the address? Okay. Yeah, I was just making sure that you had the address. So it's 5580 Gateway Suite 108. So it's a brown L-shaped building. We're sorry, I forgot to give you a heads up about it. There's a small sign on the door. Right now there's a white blazer in the Detroit epoxy floor trailer out back right now. So you can just come park the car back there and come on in. All right, bye. GoPro. See? My 1 o'clock is almost here. So that means I just gotta make space for that. We'll do it though. It's a couple doors. Just wanted to make sure we were in a good spot for this one. Perfect timing though. Look at that. Look at that. That turned out very, very nice. I'm a fan. Let's go ahead and turn this on. Battery's been sitting on a charger for a minute. How many people ask you about TikTok tint? I've been getting more calls about ceramic, and then I asked them, I was like, did you see some videos? And they're like, yeah. All right, let me ruin all your hopes and dreams. It's just kind of funny how they're shopping around specifically for ceramic because of that, though. See, that tells you right there how much of marketing is creative. People will post pretty cars all day long, but post that and it's like, oh my God, what? It's just about having the right thing. Getting in front of the right audience and creative is hard. You gotta stretch your brain muscles. Canon. All right. So I believe I'm gonna have a set of doors walking in very, very soon. So, but this one's all set. This one is 35 in the front, 20 on the back. I'd say it's quite nice. All carbon. I'm just waiting. I think I'm going to stay on, get the front doors done, and then I'll call it. And then I'll cash them out or something, because unless they're dropping off. Oh, yep, there they are. I'll be back. trying to find my meter. And I'm probably going to find it right after they leave. Hello, Tint Studio. How can I help you? Hey, how you doing? Oh, you've been watching the stream. That's super cool. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'll be here for probably another couple hours. Okay, yeah, not a problem, and I can cash you out. All right, no problem. See ya. Oh, that's cool. This guy's been watching the stream, so he just gave me a call. He's gonna come pick this up soon. So things are gonna get a little hectic. So I got to pull this one out and then pull the other one in. It's a Range Rover for front doors, so give me a minute. It's like, nope. They let me put it into drive, though. That was interesting. It's on XM. Oh, I'm waiting for. Oh, this is little. This is little. So, like, I think there's a. What is this? Oh, yeah, this is it. Oh. This one was way littler than I thought. It's the Evoke. I pulled it up really far. I just wanted to blast the radio, though. I thought that was fun. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's a Range Rover something. I kind of thought it was an Evoque, but I didn't know if it was, like, it's something very new. I gotta get ready for the other one. I gotta get ready for the other one. Hang on, I gotta tape this up. The fusion. Yeah, so I have everything on auto exposure, so the sun looks super bright. Oh no, I disabled auto exposure because it would always like darken and whatever. The color of the card changes the exposure too much. Projects. No, whoops. It got to this point. I was disappointed. I was just playing the music really loud, and then I got in the garage, and then apparently it was on like satellite radio, so it just cut off. I didn't know people still use satellite radio. New leads. Okay. Let's add that. Add project. Tint was, yeah, they do invoices. That is the main thing that I use them for. I use them for invoicing and proposals. So the transactions happen through a system I use called Zettel. I hear they're supposed to get Stripe on TintWiz, and then you could do everything. That'll be super powerful. So we did the rear and back side windows in C220, and we did the front doors, 35, save and close. Project price was $350. Create invoice. That helps speed everything along, just having all this typed up ahead of time. And then, so we're doing as close to a match on this one as we can. How many people signed up for the classes? So 3 people signed up for, which is super cool, so thank you to everybody that signed up so far. 3 people signed up for March, and then we got somebody else coming all the way in May. So that's definitely encouraging. It's not going to be a total flop. All right. So this one looks like a baby one to tint. Usually Range Rovers are much harder than this. This is probably one of the easiest ones to get, I'd imagine. Everything seems pretty accessible. The plastic paneling does not come out near, like sometimes they'll start it here and then like a jag, they'll just round this thing like crazy. This is pretty standard. I know, right? This is a little weird for a Fusion. This is the newest body style of the Fusions. I had a customer say Pro Nano looks a little brown. I'd agree. Unfortunately, that's the only one. That's the only one out of all their films. I think it's a little stronger on the on that side of the color spectrum. I wish it was a little bit more neutral. The rest of the stuff is. It's real strong at first. You can get used to it. It brightens up a gray day, though. But if it's too much for you, I don't know. Maybe sun distributing. Their Supernovas get a really nice, more neutral color, I think, with that range. I think it helps be optically clear once the sun is out. It helps with haziness. I mean, so when you first put it on, I really thought it was strong too, but then I drove with it on the Blazer and I really got used to it. And then we put Apex on, which is a much more neutral tone, and it almost made it feel gray. Like, not in a bad way, but it's like if I'd only done Apex, I wouldn't have been used to it. But on these like super gray snowy days, it's like, oh, it brightens up my day a little bit. Okay, so let's see, what are we dealing with on the seal? This corner's a little tight. Yeah. Everything else is really straightforward. What beeped? That was goofy. I thought my headset was gonna die, but it didn't. Yeah, these are real straightforward. I thought we were gonna have some problems with some Range Rovers. I totally forgot what the vehicle was. It was just front doors. And basically everything's been a truck for front doors. So I just like checked it in real quick. Then I look outside and I'm like, oh shit, it's a Range Rover. That's cool. Suntex? Not for any length of time. I've looked at their films a little bit. No, we're just doing the front doors. This is, I still get quite a few calls for stuff like this, and there's one of the biggest things that you're gonna get as a tint business is front doors. You don't see a lot of front doors on this channel because I never feel like there's enough there to go live. You go live, you tint a couple of doors, and then what else do we do? So, largely, I have a lot more full cars. Honestly, than I ever thought I would so early on, because tinting for a lot of other places, I just get front doors all day long. So if there's like multiple ones that are all like lined up in a row, that's cool. Oh, wait, I do. I got short rolls. You know what's funny? So I did that one car in the last stream in carbon, and I totally forgot I had a full roll of Pro Classic sitting around, so I actually gave a free upgrade for no reason, but hey. But yeah, most people, when they have a truck or SUV that I've tinted for, or I mean that come in for tint, they generally, first things on their mind is matching the front to the back. Sometimes they'll add a windshield, and then sometimes we'll do the whole thing. But more often than not, front door appointments, very, very common. I was gonna try and find my meter. This is definitely, so a lot of foreign trucks and SUVs can be lighter, and I wasn't sure where this was gonna fall on the spectrum, but this is definitely darker. So we'll be great with 20 on the front. I just misplaced my meter somewhere though. Short little windows too. Probably could have just used a 36 and split it in half. Actually, it would be more than fine to do it. These handles are a little obnoxious. I'm sure that works well in icy conditions. I get a lot of front. You order 60 by 100? Depends. For the most part, yeah, I've been in the habit of always ordering 60-inch rolls, getting them cut, 36/24s. But with Pro Classic, they have it on a 72. So sometimes they'll have 20s in stock, but I swear, most of the time it's like 24s and 36s. So you can get two 36s out of a 70. Or you can get three 24s. There was a super chat. When did that happen? You didn't, you troll. Oh, you troll. Son of a bitch. I saw you set it, but it didn't come with all the special sounds, so I thought I missed it. Well played. We're just gonna ban you for a month now. My 2 o'clock just canceled. Oh no, that's no fun. Did they leave a deposit? At least they let you know. Please don't ban me. There's a couple streamers. Oh man, but they have really large communities. They would do these really funny unban forms. So occasionally they ban somebody that's just being an utter troll or whatever, and then people would then submit, like every couple months they would do these unban forms where they would just basically review. They could go back through chat logs and see what the person said, why they got banned. And they would say whether or not they felt that the ban was just or not. Those are really funny. I wonder if we should over-round this front just a little bit. It's a little pinchy. So whenever I have a real pinchy front corner, sometimes because the amount of film that gets tucked in, I'll round that front corner a little bit extra because it's all hidden anyways. Who's a streamer you watch often? I don't really watch much right now because Devin Nash, he doesn't stream much anymore. Sad face. So I'd watch like some of Ludwig. He's usually pretty entertaining. I watch Tint Studio. Guy's a dick. I mean, I'll watch some of the tinting streams for sure. But as far as just like kind of outside of the whole tinting world, there isn't much. After tinting my sunroof a week later, it stopped working. Do you know why? No, why? I have no idea. I mean, freaky coincidence, or maybe the switch got wet? I don't know. Didn't Devin get banned from Twitch? No, actually. He left Twitch. No, he got tired of Twitch in general. He's got too much business going on. So he'd still stream. And then I think he really enjoyed streaming, but there wasn't really any work benefit, not much that would come off of exclusively streaming. So then he grew a YouTube channel and then was just like, yeah, I should probably just focus more on YouTube videos. And then I got a lot of work anyways to do, so I don't really have to do any of it. So you'll see videos that he posts, and then he did like a private one for his Patreon. But I think now that he's had a good break from it, there just isn't as much ROI in streaming. So, but I binged the hell out of all of his live streams for a while there. It's a smart guy. Learned a lot of good business stuff from him. Business things. Where did all my other stuff go? I think a really heavy... There it is. Like, when I was on the fence of doing distributors for Glass Aid, like bring it into Sun Distributing or just private selling it on my own site, I actually asked him... I was actually, like, I did what you guys do. I super chatted him for an answer on that one. Stuff like that. Pretty regularly, actually. Canon. All right. I got the customer here for the Fusion. I'm going to cash him out, and then we'll wrap this one up. So, hang tight. Did you at least have to walk around outside?
I don't even need to, bro.
Oh, okay.
That's how good I watched you out.
I appreciate it. Okay. Mine's very unique from any of them, but I've been tinting for a while.
Very, 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 very impressed.
Thank you. I've got the YouTube channel.
Okay, all right. That was pretty neat.
Yeah. It's honestly the reason this place is set up the way it is. So we left the $20 deposit, 350 total.
Good, gotcha.
40 comes off the top. grab some tape. And yeah, let me find your keys. It might be sitting in here. Yep, there we go. Yeah, so let's go check it out.
Okay, cool.
All right. So this is gonna die sometime soon, but we're gonna keep on plugging along. That's right. That is what I'm saying. I always give a reminder. He's had Tint before, but I always give a reminder. Like, walk out. I don't care how cold it is. I always will walk out with somebody. Just look over their car, show them, tell them what to expect. It's just a nice thing to do. When I was tinting for other shops, that's their job. They handle the customers, they sit in the back, but now that I have my own place, I always let people know what to expect, leave the windows up for a handful of days. There really isn't much that you can do to mess up your windows. I mean, even if you accidentally roll them down, everything's gonna be fine. I mean, there's always a little chance that it can peel, but you should be able to roll them down right away. The reason I'm just stacking up towels. The reason why I still tell people to leave them up is just a recommended thing to help with the curing process, that's all. But regardless, it should be good. Because sometimes you'll roll them down for like a little touch-up or something. Low angle haze on Forza? Really? You know, I noticed laminated front doors still have like a natural haze to them. That's what I do. I mean, because that's part of bringing your car in here. Is like you're paying for a good job and obviously little care instructions and whatnot and all that. So I don't want to leave the stream, but that's all the stuff that happens after the fact. Yeah, some front doors are definitely laminated. They'll do them for sound, I think. So you'd see it a lot on, especially like a lot of new cars. This one surprisingly does not have laminated front doors, but there's a lot of windows that do. My Explorer was laminated. I think F-150s, like a lot of those. There's just a lot of ones that are laminated nowadays. They typically don't on the rear doors, but on the front doors they do. Oh, this is real straightforward. Not a weird thing about this one. But yeah, kind of how we see things moving along. So what's nice about having other people handle all this is You just focus on doing the work and have somebody else check somebody in, check somebody out. All that takes time. So that's one reason I also kind of limit appointments here too. I can focus more on the job and there's not as much of that. You know, there's the time that they drop off or they're waiting. And then especially if they're waiting, I don't want them to feel like they're waiting for too long. Such a weird slant. I guess that's this whole car though. Look at that, look at that. It's like a Wrangler. So all of a sudden just drops off. You don't peel off the half liner on the peel board? No, you don't need to. You can do it right off the car. I think it wants to play the radio on me. What were we talking about before? Oh, we were talking about streamers. Yeah, just like some of you guys asking about tinting advice. There's this guy, really beneficial to listen to. All his old videos. So he talks a lot about Twitch and YouTube and like platform trends, stuff like that. But he's also grown and sold a couple of businesses, and marketing is one of his favorite things. So that's one reason he likes following social media platforms. He runs an agency for basically influencers. And so he talked a lot about good business practices and recommendations on this or that. So just an example was like when I was growing glass aid, still am, but one of the things that I wondered is like I have a couple of distributors that are interested in carrying it, but you got to do it at a lower margin. Does it make sense? And he said, you can always pull it back if it doesn't seem to work out. And there's some instances where it doesn't make sense to have distributors, but each distributor really has their own audience in a sense. So it made sense to actually let other companies sell it. And once like Sun Distributing, they actually have advantages for like international and whatnot. So it's been cool. You somehow missed that. Stephen Graham. I've seen some of his stuff. No! Canon. It does. It's okay, we can fix it. We can fix it. It won't take long. So what I really liked about Devin's stream is like you could actually hang out with him and stream and just ask him questions that were applicable to like what we were doing. He still had like 1,000 viewers at the time. So it's hard to get anything in, but he had so many good pieces of advice. hot swap. Not quite as elegant as we used to before with only the GoPro, but still works. You don't peel off half liner on the peel board. No, so going back to like peeling stuff on the peel board versus peeling it on the car itself, you can get things super clean all 100% right off of the car. I didn't have the luxury of peel boards for a lot of places that I tinted for. Wall space was covered in shelves, dirty shelves at that. And they're just like auto garages, right? So there's just constant buildup and whatnot on any of that. So there's a lot of, like, you're working, in most cases, I'm working with other people in the building, and they have other things to do and not worry about window tint. And as much as I would try and get them to worry about window tint, they never did. They're doing their own thing, and you're doing your own thing, and you're trying as best as you can to just not get in each other's ways, but Matt's currently describing my work environment. That's most shops, man. Most shops are like, most cars, or most places are kind of set up just like mechanic places. That's just how they are. And then they add window tinting as like a service, and they treat it like everything else in their business when it can be that way, but there's always this, like, it's like painting a car, right? It's better to have proper conditions to get a better result. So it's really about when the extreme things happen. So I was tinting in one bay, tinting in another bay, and all I could ever rely on was the car. I knew I had car, and the car has glass. That glass is my peel board. So I still do that to this day, just out of habit, really. So what's cool is like you can literally change the background. Like everything here can all change. Most of what you see me do is like 100% on the car. The environment can change and you can still do the exact same thing. Because that's what I had to do for the longest time. GeoShield should add installment payments through a firm, something I feel like that would get more customers and bigger ones. The only annoying part about that is you lose margin. So I actually have that set up on my site right now. I did it for the classes, and I don't care about it for the classes. But on like the film and tools and stuff, there's different margin that's taken for stuff like that. So you usually pay anywhere from like, I don't know, I think it was like 6% of the sale. So that can be an issue for sure. Because why not just make the film 6% cheaper then? I don't know, like, pros and cons to all of it. But same thing with those, like a platform like Amazon. Amazon takes like 10 to 15% of your sales right off the top, and then you got to deal with everything else. And you have to abide by like their return policies and stuff, and their shipping times, and sometimes they'll just put all that on the third-party seller that's selling through Amazon. Some of it is fulfilled through Amazon for sure, but not all of it. Chroma key? Oh, we haven't done that in a minute. It was kind of messing things up. I wanted a way, as silly as this sounds, I wanted a way to like with the fog machines, turn it on with like super chats or something, but there isn't a good way to do it. And then I tried setting it up a different way with just voice commands, and that works, but the background video was causing the whole thing to stutter, and I don't know why that was the case, so there's just some dumb things. It would be a little project to set up right now. It's not ready to go. Oh God. Don't stick. Don't do that. Oh, why you do that? There we go. So they're not exactly like, I wouldn't say this is hydrophobic. I'm just trying to get this thing in place. There we go. There we go. Yep. There it is. 6 years behind the alert.
DW Tinting super chatted $5.
DW.
Fog.
DW, thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. Fog, yes. Right now it's on. Right now it keeps hitting the banner. I don't know where to put it. I don't have enough banner space now. So I think I have to take my banner down then. But I have another banner on the other side, so it's okay. I saw somebody in Film Pros say that clay bars are for newbies. Yeah, okay, dude. You don't need clay bars. They're nice to have. It's like a little bit more thorough is all it is. It helps scrub whatever crap is on the defrosters, and I have yet to see anything else that seems to do it other than literally, yeah, taking sandpaper to it. Way to make people feel comfortable. And it's fine. It's about everything. You hear it about everything different. That's a never-ending tunnel too for the guy that uses this. Then there's like, why do you need so many tools? I only use these 3 tools for everything. Been tinting this way for 50 years. Okay, cool. That you do you. It happens with everything though. Every industry. Boom. I love my Clavegar DSP and Glassade. I appreciate it, man. I'm old school. I appreciate what a lot of longtime tinters bring to the field, but I think everybody hates a dumb level of arrogance. That looks clean. Thank you. I think so. See, front door appointments really aren't that long either. You schedule them. I'll schedule them for up to an hour. Spend a little bit more time, tape things off and everything, but all good. Those are those closed-off tinters that grow and search for new tools, like Rodney, Mike. They don't like me, though. That's been a funny one. As far as I know. I don't know. That's hearsay. Well, some of it is. Just saw your color shift tint video. Oh, cool. Welcome. How long does it last? I don't know. I don't think it's worth keeping. Especially in the wintertime or summertime. I might have done better in the wintertime, but I didn't leave it on long enough to see. On a hot day, it would fade to clear. So, like, what's the point? When it was around 70 to like 75 degrees, it would work like normal, but leave it out on a hot day, it would always fade to clear. That's a lot of goats. That is a lot of goats. Cool. Well, that was fun. So it was a set of doors. I gotta find my meter. I still haven't found my meter. I haven't really looked for it right now. Do you wipe down the paint? No, I don't touch the paint. There's lots of salt, so there's a few things that can go wrong. You could wash the car and then do it as a whole, but the thing is, if you're just wiping down like one panel, and just getting your soap off of there, you're making the rest of the car then look like shit. There's usually this like layer of buildup that is on a fair amount of cars that come in. So even if they got a car wash, if it's been sitting for a day, whenever you wipe off like one door, it'll always make that door look so much better than the rest of it. And then by contrast, you then kind of want to like fix the rest of it. The other thing is you can take, God, God, that is super obnoxious. You can take like, or you can like wash the whole car, but if you're just taking your microfiber and wiping the one panel, there's always potential to scratch and everything. So I don't even touch the paint. Let me know if it sounds like a diesel. No, it sounded like R 100,000 times. Ban DW tinting, not me. We'll ban everybody. Everybody gets bans. I don't want to let anybody feel like they've been left out. Sweet. Yep, I'd say that is a pretty damn close match there. That headrest is a little bit in the way, but yeah, yep, right in the 20 range. Oh my God, it's right there. Yes, I think I'll find the meter. I found it. I was just cleaning things up and I misplaced it. So, I mean, I could see really quick what the back is. It's a 1 o'clock appointment. It's been 40 minutes. That always happens with stuff here. I've got a lot of space to misplace something. So we're at 21. Yep. Very good. There we go. Why?
Swalligang super chatted $1.99.
What the hell
How
is
do
that?
I keep clay bar clean?
Is this like a winter mode or something where it leaves the wipers half up the windshield? That's goofy. Who was the guy they was talking about? Devin? Oh, yeah, Devin Nash. Really, really good YouTube channel. Had a really good Twitch stream, but none of his stuff is there anymore. Swole Gang. Did your thing come through yet? Want to look him up? Here, I'll pull him up. Canon. I think his channel is more about Twitch and YouTube stuff at this point, but he does have a Patreon. But anyways, just stop. Mm-hmm. See, he's always in space. Why you're bad at marketing, probably. I wonder if you guys can hear that. Oh, you can. Wait, can you guys hear that or no? No? Okay. The question is why? That's super weird.
a lot, which is that I'm a very devout Zen Buddhist. It's too Zen. It's too meta. It's too much like the thing.
Okay, now you can hear it. I don't know why it's got to come through at a whole different audio source. That's super goofy. It should be coming through my main one.
Nah, it'll like die lol.
Oh, no, the robot voice is there
There
too.
it goes.
Oh, come on. Christ. Why? Wait, maybe I can mute it that way. No, that means that the... No.
Everybody
that
getting
should work.
caught in when they're
R.
thinking about marketing or advertising.
Face
in
with
some
tears
way.
of joy.
It's too...
Let me see
You
if
can
I
leave it
pull
in
up-
water while you're doing a car though.
Like I said, a lot of this stuff now is more geared
Stephen
towards
face with tears of joy.
YouTube and streaming.
You are.
But a lot of this is so applicable to so many other businesses. I would listen to him for
Who was the
hours on a
Devin guy?
live stream. I'm trying to...
Face with tears of joy. Face with tears of
But if I
joy.
had to pick one video, that's kind of like...
You're. Goat. I
I don't know what it would be.
BR.
Because some of
You
these are
should
really
change
good.
your voice to a girl one. LMAO.
Let me
from
try
this
this
video, they agreed or disagreed with it that some people think that YouTube is getting more niche, for example. Some of the larger creators that responded to me or messaged me told me that they felt like it was the opposite of what I was saying. Some
Burr,
people
burr, 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 burr.
responded to Mastermind Chat, which is our Patreon chat, and said
R.
that they didn't feel like the sort of new age marketing, like 39 DAF or
The wife wouldn't
any of these
approve.
people that are making these like short YouTube titles.
Can you guys hear the robot
was
voice too?
Very good. And I realized that I think that the majority of people that are in marketing or
LA,
advertising are people that
LA,
will listen to sort of
LA.
miss the point.
Oh no. I think people can hear
And
it.
maybe that's because of the way that I...
You guys. Yes, we're playing around with the robot voice. Oh. What happened to my streaming software? That's the question. All right, we're going to put it on mute for a little bit.
I explained it. So I'm going to do this because this is a Patreon video. It might go to YouTube, but I doubt it. I'm going to treat it like a Patreon video, which means that I can be more casual about what I'm doing. And I'm going to talk about something that I do offline that I don't talk about a lot, which is that I'm a very devout Zen Buddhist. I spend a lot of time practicing and thinking about Zen. And there's a great book by Suzuki. Suzuki was pretty much one of the people that brought Zen to America. One of the two people. I'd say it's him and Alan Watts are the people that really made Zen Buddhism a popular thing in the West. I'm going to read you a portion of the beginning of the book.
I'm taking a gamble.
And then we're
here.
going to talk about this concept as it relates to marketing. I promise if you bear with me, there will be, it'll be really important. It'll be really worth doing.
Okay, there you go. If you bear with
People
them.
say that practicing Zen is difficult, but there is a misunderstanding as to why. It's not difficult because it is hard to sit in a cross-legged position or to attain enlightenment. It is difficult because it is hard to keep our mind pure and our practice pure in its fundamental sense. The Zen school developed in many ways after it was established in China, but at the same time it became more and more impure. But I don't want to talk about Chinese Zen or the history of Zen. I'm interested in helping you keep your practice from becoming impure. In Japan, we have the phrase shoshin, which means beginner's mind. The goal of practice is always to keep our beginner's mind. Suppose you recite a sutra only once. It may be a very good recitation, but what would happen to you if you recited it twice, 3 times, 4 times, or more? You may easily lose your original attitude towards it. The same thing will happen in your other Zen practices. For a while, you will keep your beginner's mind, but if you continue to practice 1, 2, 3 years or more, although you may improve some, you are liable to lose the limitless meaning of the original mind. So what Suzuki is saying here is that there's a certain mindset that when you start with
is
something
deep.
like content creation or starting to build,
This one is definitely like... Sometimes he goes off in a way that's always like a little bit more... I don't know. You get a particular vibe off it, and you're like, is he crazy?
business, you're open to many more possibilities. There's another quote that I think is also a Zen quote that says, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, and in the expert mind, there are few. And I think that is the takeaway and sort of the trap. I would use that word. That's strongly
Places
use
in
that word
space.
that I think many people are falling into. And I'm going to read a comment from the mastermind session here to kind of extenuate what I mean. So here in our Discord, there's a creator named Epos Vox, who I've been really impressed with, just writing some really incredible, insightful stuff in our mastermind chat. And I just want to read a little bit of this at the beginning of this. Is
I've
that
seen his channel too.
this in response to my video on experience marketing, shorter, less SEO oriented titles. The exact kind of thing that makes me want to vomit and why I get stuck with sales. If I'm buying tea, for example, I don't want to be fed some BS about how it will change my life. I just want to buy the tea and see how it compares. These kind of things feel incredibly condescending and rarely actually feel relatable. Why would I use this to sell my own stuff? If anything, it's the idea to create this made up story rather than presenting sold info that hates me sales more. I just don't get it. So this goes on to say this is a long conversation. It's really worth reading. There's a lot of people that come into it that add a lot. And I wanted to make a video related to this. It's kind of like what this video is. And that's to say that I hear this a lot, this pushback on things like the title like, bro, please no more tomatoes, or my grandpa got owned, right? Like these titles. And people say, or there's just like a history of like pages and pages of copy where it's like, do you want to get more chicks, get ripped, and make a ton of money? Like, do this now, big red letters, things like that. A lot of people that push back against this. And they think that there is something inauthentic about this. They think that there's some kind of...
This is probably going to be a really good video. Actually, it's starting to be a good one. So this is a good reason why I'd like to listen to him in particular, because the really introspective with marketing. So up to this point, for those of you, if you haven't seen the first 5 minutes of it, is basically like you want to keep a beginner's mind on some of this, because you like as window tinters and any skill that you get so far into the weeds that you think they know what you know, but in reality, most people don't know what you know up to a certain point. So that's kind of what he's getting into here.
It's like this sort of like judgment call almost, that like this is like not marketing in its appropriate.
Oh, and basically like the whole bells and whistles, basic marketing, like who would fall for that stuff? This gets really interesting.
Sense. Marketing should be true, it should be authentic, or it should be a certain way that speaks directly to the value of the features and benefits of products. And there's sort of a sliminess, there's a feeling that this doesn't fit if it's not like this. And I'm here to tell you that mindset is entirely contrived by your own consumer habits, which do not reflect the behavior of average consumers, and actually don't reflect the behavior of you as a consumer, although you don't realize it. So every person individually would like to think that they are these indomitable, unmovable objects of faith and discipline that only respond to product offerings that are pure features and benefits and don't respond to any kind of this type of marketing. But time and time again, this is shown through numerous advertising and marketing studies and just relative behavior. I mean, if you just run any business for a while, you'll see that this kind of marketing draws people in again and again and again. And I say this kind of marketing because even that statement, this kind of marketing, implies that there's a kind of marketing that this is and a kind of marketing that it isn't. And this reminds me of the second Zen story that I'm going to tell. So there is a monk who's training in Japan, and one of the questions in Zen that you get asked, the first question, if you've ever been to
All right. I think I'm going to skip some of this.
So many people are attached to this outcome as if like there's a certain good or bad type of marketing. It is reminiscent that they're limiting their possibilities or the scope of what is possible, and that is not good. That will limit you in the long term, both mentally and financially. Rather, the way that I see it is I will make a video with the most clickbait title possible because I am delivering value or content that I think should be in the hands of the most amount of people possible.
I like that. I like that a lot. If you want to watch the video, I'll link it, the rest of it. It's normally something we don't watch. But stuff like this is why I really like his channel. You always see, like, so this, like I said, a lot of his stuff goes to, like, YouTube, Twitch, whatnot. You always see these, like, dumb clickbaity titles that seem over the top and usually don't quite deliver what they promise on. But when you watch something that's thoroughly entertaining, you're usually not upset at whatever the title is, and you'll often forget. So this kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, this goes hand in hand with so much marketing stuff. People will post pretty pictures of cars. They'll title it exactly what it is. And I don't know if I even want to bring this example up necessarily, but this is a video I think everybody should see. It was really, really interesting.
What's up?
And if you haven't seen this, everybody that wants to start a mobile tinting business, you've probably heard somewhere of Alligator. So Patrick did a interview with Martin Fowler. I'm trying to, there he is. Patrick and Martin. And a lot of he goes into a lot of his backstory, how he started his mobile tinting business, why he thinks some of it was a waste of money, and what he learned from it. Really interesting conversation. But the part of the video, hey, we got some fog, thank you. The part of the video that I really think needs to be changed is this right here. But that's for a different reason.
Jason Solis super chatted $5. Alright, my Mac is gonna die and I got some stuff to take care of.
Oh, wow.
Have a good rest of your weekend, my fellow tinters.
Jason with a 5. Oh, well, that's a shame to hear. But thank you so much for the 5. You have a good one, man. Appreciate that a lot. So, going back to like the Devin video about marketing, you kind of have to frame whatever you do in a particular way so it gets the most attention, and if it delivers real value, then people will enjoy whatever that thing was. So there's always two sides to this. So when you're running a tinting business, more so than just making pretty pictures of cars, you have to figure out what kind of connects with your audience, what connects with people that are looking for window tint. And the best example that we saw recently was ceramic being dark on the outside and light on the inside, and all of a sudden everybody's asking about that. Like, what the hell is going on? So this is really important when you're running into slow times especially, and you're not sure what to do. You really need to just take a hard look, not at what everybody else is doing, but trying to figure out something creative that you can bring to the world that's going to make them interested in what you do. And for a lot of people, I think more lately, that's been showing behind the scenes of what your shop is like, educating people that are looking for what you're doing. And it's not like you need a YouTube audience to do any of that. You can do that on your own Facebook page. You can do that on your Instagram. You can do that on your own TikTok or whatever. And any one of those things can catch fire and bring you a lot of business. So Devin's channel is such a good channel to get broad marketing perspective. But what I was saying with this one, this is such a good conversation here. And I just wanted to change. Sorry, this one. This is a really good conversation here. I linked it. But I really want, this needs to be a different title because he needs to sell this to more people so they watch it because it's a really good video. So that's what I've had to do with my own channel. It's like the title that I use now, Ford Fusion Carbon Window Tint, like nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I don't even know how many people really care about listening as far as this goes. But it is really important for running your own business. Everything is changing and evolving for marketing. It always is. And what worked a couple of years ago isn't necessarily the same thing that's going to work today. So when you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, not knowing what to do for your business, watch some of those videos and maybe you'll get some good ideas. All right, so we're going to put some tape on this. Actually, I think it's probably at the end of the stream today. There we go. Nice reminder there. But that's pretty cool. We did 20 on this. We did a fusion earlier. Everything's all good to go. I need to let them know that their car's all ready to pick up. Gotta title it like tinted windows gone wrong. Kinda. Even that doesn't work as well as it used to. Oh, I was gonna take a picture. That's what I was gonna do. It's about having a good original idea and then having a good way to sell it too. Having good content is like half half or less. And then having a good way to sell it is like probably 90% of it. Like one of the best examples that I had personally was my my Amazon mirror one. I'll bring that example up a bunch of times. Rather than calling it what it was, I called it Amazon's best-selling smart mirror. And the video's like 3 million views up. It's crazy. Okay, cool. Canon. I gotta figure out why my audio is broken though. That's super annoying. Do you have any experience doing flat glass? Very, very little experience doing flat glass. But it is a very good moneymaker. All right. 2 seconds. I can start typing up the next one. Hey, this is Matt from the Tint Studio. Hey, your Range Rover's all set. Okay, see you soon. All right. Yeah, flat glass is awesome. I've just never wanted to do it. All the windows are flat. It's really about getting to the windows, and then also you're going into people's homes and stuff. So there's a little bit of different type of work involved in drumming up that type of business and stuff. I've heard a really good way, at least to get into it from auto, is start advertising it to all your auto clients, letting them know that you do architectural work. So you've got your foot in the door with their car. If you do a good job on their car, then do a good job on their house, right? But you can charge, I don't know, I hear a lot of people charging like $8 to $15 a square foot, depending on like materials and just the company and whatnot. So square foot, you can make a lot of money doing it. What is this one? It's a Land Rover. All new Range Rover. Range Rover Evoque. Front side windows. Pro plastic. 20. Save and close. Edit 100 for the front doors. Create invoice. Cool. Alrighty. Let's shout out some super dupers. All right. So big thank you to, there's a whole bunch of super chats today. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So Jason, Swole Gang, DW, Classic City Tint, Johnny, ST, Devin, Zeus, Johnny, Zeus. Thank you guys for all the super chats. I really appreciate it. Thinking about making the 11 and a half hour drive for the class. Damn, that's a long drive. I drove down to Alabama. That was like, actually in total, I don't know, it was about that. I think in total it was like, yeah, about 10. So I think we had about 11 and a half hours of driving, really. That's a long drive. It'll be fun. That'd be super cool. For sure. I think it'd be that versus flying. Not too bad to drive all the way out there. And then we'll have your car here too. So if you want to like tint your car here, we can make it happen. We got space. So learn extra practical things. $38. What's 38? Oh, viewership dropped off real hard. Alrighty. Well, I'm signed up for your class in March. I'm hyped, ready to improve my skills driving 10 hours from Virginia Beach. Whoa, damn. We are looking forward to having you, Cole, or I am. I don't know why I keep saying we, but that'll be super cool to have you. Thanks for. I saw you join the online portion, which is super cool. So what I intend to do is get a couple Zoom discussions going. I'm going to be scheduling one of those soon. It'll give you a notification in the app on the site. So a big part of it is kind of being prepared for the class and what to expect, and if you have any questions, like how I can best steer you. And then after you attend the class, you'll still have that for a period of time afterwards, which will be really, really helpful. So those extra questions, things that you might have forgot, or just like, hey, man, this isn't going well. What can I do? That's what it's there for. I call my business we all the time. It's just me. Dude, I've worked with companies that, yeah, they're always we. And it's like, I don't know. See you later. When's your next stream? We got a Cadillac coming in on Monday, so we'll be back on Monday. Never been on an airplane and would rather sightsee? Well, cool. Airplanes now, I mean, they haven't changed much. They still cram everybody together. But they're quick. Alrighty. Well, I am going to take off here. I got to deliver this one probably really soon. I'm going to pull it out. And y'all have a good weekend. I will see you Monday. Looking forward to having you here, though. That'll be fun. Alrighty, dudes. I will see you later. Bye. Bye. Where's my window?